Hey guys, good morning. It's October 6th, 2021. I'm Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube, and today we're going to go over Stitch-Tober, and we're also going to go over some of my whips and have lots of things finished. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to have a couple of changes today, so you might notice the lights are down a little bit lower, and that's because I'm still recovering from eye surgery. And we're also going to be doing top camera today, just to make it a little bit easier for me. And some of the questions won't be answered today because I am not seeing as great, and so if you have any questions that I don't answer, just pop them in the comments. We will answer them. I'm still recovering, so it's just going to be slightly different today, so just hang in there with me. So we're going to go to top camera now, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sunflower September. So we're going to send all of the pieces that I finished for Sunflower September to Priscilla to finish for me. And if you want to see all of the charts that I was able to complete in that month, we did release a video last Wednesday showing all of my projects. And the video is called 2021 Kimberly Sunflower September Summary. So I'm super excited about that. And next September, we might do more sunflowers, we might do samplers, we might do something else. So I haven't decided yet if that's going to be a one-time thing or a more time thing. So we're just gonna kind of go with that, and we might be doing more videos like that are just like summaries, so that there's always a place you can go back to just reference instead of having to go through the whole live stream. So the next event that I'm going to be working on is called FQS Stitch-Tober. And so Stitch-Tober is a collaboration with Lori Holt, and we started it, I think, about 2 years ago. And she did release a video on her YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is called Lori Holt, and she released a video on Friday about Stitch-Tober. And if you want to skip to where she talks about Stitch-Tober, go to the 41-minute mark, and that's where she's going to start talking about what she's stitching on, since she will be stitching on different things than me. And she has some similar things, but some very different things. And so I think it's always fun to look at what other people are doing, just to see you know, just aesthetically what other people are creative with and what they can come up with. So to start with that, she's also going to be stitching Quilty Barn. I'm going to go into detail about all of these projects in a little bit. Well, not all of them, but I'm going to at least show you my first week's progress. So my first project I'm going to be working on is Quilty Barn. And on this one, I am going to be stitching both small ones, and I'm going to stitch them on Lori's Oatmeal 14 count Ada. And I haven't decided which two inserts I'm going to do, but I'm going to show you some options in a little bit, and then y'all can comment in the box and let me know what you think. So this is going to be my first two projects. My third project is going to be Autumn Beauties, which is a PDF, a paid PDF. It's 5 parts, and part 1 has come out. So I have part 1 done, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. I am stitching that also on the same cloth, which is Lori Holt's Oatmeal 14 count. The next item I'm going to work on is Pumpkin Picking Day, and this is part of the Back Up the Truck series, which I absolutely love. So I think there's 3 out now. There's this one, there's a Halloween one, and there's a Christmas one. I'm definitely going to also be doing the Christmas one. And on this, I'm going to stitch on Chalkboard Black 14 count Witchell. And on these two, or actually all 3 of these, I'm using thread packs from Fat Quarter Shop. So this will be DMC, Classic Colorworks, and Classic Colorworks. And we have thread packs for all of those. The next one that I am going to be working on, so this will be number 5, is Foxtastic Patchwork Seasons, which is a PDF pattern. This one I'm stitching just like the sample, and the fabric I'm using is Venetian Stone 14 count Witchell, and I am using the Foxtastic NPI thread pack. So we have done a lot of thread packs for these to make it easy if you want to just pick up the pattern, the fabric, and the thread. The next one I'm working on is September calendar crates, and I'm also working on 14 count Witchell, and I'm kind of dividing these up into 4 or 5 sections, and I'm just kind of visually going off. I kind of divided everything up into a different amount of sections, and I'm kind of guessing as I go on how much to do each week. This is also calendar crates October, and there's also calendar crates November that's also out, and I've actually started November also. So during Stitch-Tober, I might actually get September, October, and November done. And December just shipped to our club members, so I have 4 to work on. The next one I'm working on is Autumn Spice. And this one I am stitching with the called for DMC and the pale gray gingham 14 count fabric flare. If you want this kitted up, we might have some Autumn Spice Stitch quarterly kits left over, so you can look for that. And then the last item I'm working on is the October sampler of the month. So I have a total of, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 projects that I'm going to spread out over Stitch-Tober. And with Stitch-Tober, I am going to do similar to last year, where I start on October 1st and go to kind of the middle of October, so that I give myself enough time to get them all done. I first was going to do it just in the month of October and realized that I kept adding and decided, you know, let me just stretch this out a little bit longer. So that'll be a lot of fun. And now what I'm going to get to show you is what I have finished so far for the first couple of days. So the first thing that I worked on the first 2 days was Quilty Barn, both the Quilt Barn Mini and the Silo Barn Mini. So I'm going to show you those, and we'll talk a little bit about how the pattern mix and match works. So what I decided to do here, since I did these in back-to-back days, this is the barn, and then this is the Silo Barn. So what I decided to do was go ahead and do the border. At first I thought I would come back and do the colors later, but I decided I'm just going to go with what's on the pattern and make my inset match the outside. So each of these are 24 by 24, and they work well with different patterns. So the point of this is you can either make this as one big piece, you can do all barns, you could do all silo barns, and the pattern comes with this star, the goat, and the rooster. But you can mix and match, which is what I'm going to be doing. So you can take your stitch card box and any of the stitch cards finish at 24 by 24. So you could put this star in here. You could put the flower in here. So you could start with those. So there's so many options. So you could start with stitch cards. The Farm Girl Fall would fit in here. So you could put this star in here or this acorn in here. And I have this displayed at my house, and I just wanted to bring it and show it. And this is actually on my fireplace at the bottom. I kind of have it propped up next to a bucket. And so this was stitched a couple years ago on 10 count. And so I might pop some of these in my silo barns. So you could use that. You can use the little, is that a chicken or a rooster? But you can put that in. You can put any of these stars from Quilty Love in. And you could do a farmhouse Christmas, which is a great idea. And I hadn't even thought about that until I saw Lori's video. I mean, how cute would it be with a little Christmas house or gingerbread man? And you could make the colors match the colors that are listed in here. And just to kind of go back in time, this is my vintage Christmas that I did a couple years ago. This is also on 10 count. So that is my quilty barn, and now I'm going to kind of show you my options. So I'm either going to, well, first I wanted to say I went ahead and I'm dividing this into 4 sections, and I went ahead and did the left side of the barn here and then the right side of the barn here, because obviously I didn't want to do 2 lefts because that would be way too boring. So this one took me about 5 hours and this one took me about 6 hours. So not too bad, but I've got 2 options that I'm thinking of. I am using all the called for colors that are DMC in this pattern, but my 2 thoughts are either put the tractor in one and the scarecrow in another, because I mean, what barn doesn't need a tractor, right? Because it fits and it kind of, it's like parked in there. I also thought about putting the acorn or the maple leaf in there, or the sunny sunflower. So let me know what you think. Should I put the acorn and the sunny sunflower in my barns, or should I put the scarecrow? Well, I guess he could be, yeah, he's a scarecrow, but we could make him look a little bit like a farmer and a tractor. So I would love for you guys to comment in the box so I can know what you think. So this is Quilty Barn, a lot of fun. I loved making the gingham. I'm kind of on a gingham kick where I really like the gingham. And I wanted to show you, I have it all in this brand new bag that Lori Holt gave me. And Christy from Crosshatch Quilts made it, and this is a fun crochet tutorial with a covered button tutorial, and this is on Lori Holt's video from 2 weeks ago. So I'm so excited because I don't have to make one. She made it for me. I don't have to think about it. So I have everything kind of in here, and I wanted to kind of talk about something that I'm doing here that's a little bit different. So I bought the thread pack because it has 20 skeins and some of them have more than 1 skein. But because I'm not making this big one and I'm only making the small ones, I might not use every single color. And so since my health is not like 100%, I decided I'm going to like card my skeins as I go. So as I use a color, I card it. But what I noticed is some of the colors used in here are also used in another project that I'm doing with Lori's, which I had right next to me, which is So Happy. So I just kind of looked in my So Happy bag, and if I already had it carded, I just use from my So Happy bag, and then I'll just leave my skein untouched. So some of the colors do cross over. And so I kind of have some loose floss flowers and some DMC stickers. And so if I need to card one, I will. If not, I'll just put the leftovers in my storage that you can see in my cross stitch storage video. But that was a way for me to save a little bit of time. And so again, here is my... Oh, one thing that I did do. Okay, this is a kind of a funny story. I obviously can't see very good, so I actually started stitching on the wrong side on one of them. So I had stitched at least an hour and then realized I was on the wrong side. So I went and pulled from my stash, and you can see that they're slightly different. So they're both oatmeal 14 count. This probably came from a different batch, but you can't tell. I had to FaceTime Lori. I was like, Lori, should I wait until Monday when I can go back to work to get more? So they look slightly different, but they are the same. But I decided, because I had put an hour's worth of work into stitching, I wasn't going to unstitch all that. That was going to be just too much work. So this is 14 count oatmeal by Lori Holt. So that was my first 2 days of Stitch-Tober. So much fun. And I love the Quilty Barn because it's very different from the style of my house, but I love it. And it has been so well received. So I just want to thank all of you for all the support for Lori, because you guys have gone crazy over this. This is very, very exciting. So this is a brand new item that I get to show you today. These are called Farm Fresh Egg Floss Drops. They come in a pack of 20. They will be coming in stock later this week, and you buy the ring separately. So the ring doesn't come with it, but you get 20 floss flowers. They're a similar material to the floss biddies, so they're not as thick as the floss flowers, so they bend a little bit. And when I watched Lori's video, she talked about using this pen called Identa pen. It has two sides. One is a marker and one is more of a fine tip pen. And so we went ahead, and luckily it called for 20 colors in the pattern. So luckily the floss flowers just happen to have 20. And so what we did is we had Katie, who has beautiful handwriting, write on the back. And so she used this pen, and then you just let it dry for about 10 seconds, and then it's permanent. So you can't take it off. So you would only use it if you're wanting to do permanent. If you want to do stickers, you could use the stickers I just showed that are DMC. And they are eggs, but to me, they just look like normal. So I think these are going to go crazy. I am a little bit worried based on the response that we might sell out. So if you're interested in these, get them in our first shipment. We've already reordered. They're on the coming soon page, and you can sign up to get notified when they come in stock later this week. And then when they come in stock, just order them quick. I'm afraid people are just going to be buying like 20 packs of these, because ever since Lori put out her video, we have gotten so much response. So thank you for the support on that. And I'll kind of show you how they look individually. So you would just card them the same way you do anything else. You could do smaller. If you look at Lori's, she did her numbers smaller. You could do your numbers bigger. I think Lori used the small side of the pen. And I know that Katie, who works for us, who has beautiful handwriting, she used the marker side. So just use a permanent pen or use a sticker. But these are going to be super awesome. So that was my day 1 and day 2. My next one, oh my gosh, took me almost 10 hours. So I almost like passed out when I was done with this. So this is Autumn Beauties. It is a mystery that has 5 parts. And we have a pop-up of the dates, and these are the dates that you're going to be receiving the PDF. So if you buy the PDF, it's a one-time purchase, and then when you get that PDF, a week later you'll get the next PDF, and then you just kind of follow along with us. So I got I got part 1 done. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this and a couple of the things. So it is definitely like a repeat. But I did find that with doing the gingham, I really needed to use the line keepers. So I know I'm showing part of the pattern, but I did want to emphasize that I was having trouble following the gingham without my line keepers. So that was very helpful for me. And then what I did when I kind of did the top and the side, and then I went halfway, and then I did a little bit in, and then I went ahead and did the whole flower and then filled in the gingham around it. I felt like that was a little bit easier to see. This is also the same 14 count oatmeal, and so I stitched on the side that has the modeling on it. And I do think it's great on this one that we started here, because you have the biggest part out of the way, and then your next one is going to be clockwise. So then we'll be going from like this way. And so you've got the hardest part down, you've got the base down, and now you can fill in. And so we haven't ever done the border first. So I'm hoping that you guys like that. So you can give me some feedback and let me know what you think. So that was day 3. I am using the Classic Colorworks. And excited about part 2. The next one was so much fun. I love the colors in this one. This was my favorite part. So this is Pumpkin Picking Day by Stitching with the Housewives. And this one, something about these colors I just love. And so I divided this one into 5 parts. So I decided that it would be easier to go from the bottom to the top than from the top to the bottom. But what I did try to do when I'm starting these is I'm starting in different sections, and I'm working from left to right or right to left, top to bottom, bottom to top. So you can see that there are no rules. You can do whatever you feel motivated to do, but I loved making this. It did take me 7.5 hours. So you can see that my stitching is much, much longer than normal because of what's going on with me, because I probably could have got that done in 4 hours normally. But this one, I just really love the colors. And this one, she added in, this is a Weeks Dye Works, and the rest are Classic Color Works. So that's a perfect example that you can mix in. You don't have to have the same company's threads. You can kind of mix and match. And then what I'll be doing on this one is going up. So I'll just kind of be going up and do as much as I can each week. But I'm really loving the colors on this one. And then yesterday I got part 2 of Foxtastic done. So since we didn't have a live stream last week, what I decided on this one is it's 108 stitches down. And I divided it into 6 parts. So I'm just going to do like 18, 18, 18, 18, something like that. So I have Venetian Stone. And this is a PDF you purchase, and it's a one-time purchase. And I'm using NPI threads, which I love. Oh my gosh, the NPI, I never have tangles. So actually, 18 stitches is 2 rows. And then 18 stitches is 2 more rows. So I've already started week 3. And one thing that I did here was I did the white before I did any of the oranges. And I did all of the surrounding browns before I did the black, because I didn't want the black to bleed in. So that's why I have all of this done and all of this done, is because I didn't want that black to bleed. So that is, and then here's my bag for that. I have all my NPI. What I decided is I'm going to keep all my NPI on these floss biddies, and sometimes I use my label maker. Sometimes I just tape the NPI label on it. But I am going to keep all of my NPI on the different floss biddies and kind of combine them by season, because we have a lot of different floss biddies. So let's see, and I've been using these little bitty boards and all of them. So that is my Stitch-Tober. I'm going to answer maybe a couple of questions. Any possibility of carrying her tractor enamel charm again? So adorable. Lori pointed it out in her last tutorial. So we'll look into that, but if it is a tractor, it might be back ordered by Riley Blake, so I'm sure we have it on order. Do the floss edge come with Katie to write on them? That's funny. She'll like that comment. How big of a piece of 14 count Aida do you need for the quilty barn, and what color? So we did special order something, and it's coming in this week. So let's wait till next week to talk about it. But we had to order a special piece that was large enough, and so we'll give you more details on that next week. We ordered it quite a bit ago. It just takes a while to get on. So now I'm going to kind of move to just some of the other stitchy things that I have completed. And the first thing that I have worked on is So Happy by Lori Holt, and we can pop up the dates. So we kind of divided up. We're on week 3, which is the HAP. And then we have week 5 as the sewing machine, and week 6 is the border. So when I started stitching, I decided I just was too scared I was going to get off on a stitch. So what I've decided is as I do each piece, I'm going to do the border. So when I get over here, what I'm going to do this week, I'm going to do the PY apostrophe. And then the next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the base of the machine, finish my border, and do part of the sewing machine, and then finish the sewing machine and the buttons on week 6. So kind of, it's okay to take our suggestion and then make it match your own, because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't off, so I didn't want to wait to do the border till the end. And also doing the border is very it's easy because you don't have to think. So maybe if you're at like a football game or something, you can kind of stitch and do it without even thinking. So I did get that done. I want to give a big thank you to Valeria Bauer for her super chat. She gave us a super chat before we even started. So we missed you, Valeria. The next one that I worked on is Granita, and I love this one. Oh my gosh. This one has been so addicting. So on this one, I'll pop up the dates, and where we were at is on the center, kind of that week 5. So this week I'm going to move to week 6, which is over here. But when I was on week 4, I kind of got a little bit nervous and thought, you know what, let me go ahead and finish this outer border to make sure that I have everything kind of there so that I have something to go off of. So over here, when I was on this border, I did this. Now this week I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to go ahead and some of the stitching on these side pieces are the same. So I might start filling in a little bit over here just to kind of get a little bit ahead. This one is pretty intensive, so it takes a lot of time, but it is a lot of the same. You know, this is the same as this, is the same as this. So, you know, if you have extra time and you just did this one, you can do another one because it's the same and it's kind of already in your head. So this one's coming out really pretty. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this one. But I love it. I think I might put it at my office because my office does have a pink wall. And then all the trimmings was our free cross stitch sew along. It also had a quilting sew along. And on this I finished, and I did want to give y'all a little tease that on Friday, October 8th, which is in 2 days, we are releasing a video on how to finish it, and this is our finishing option. Now, Priscilla finished the original, and I will also show you that. We wanted to show you one that was more quilty based. So what we did is we actually sewed these fabrics, which is B cross stitch, to the outside. Like, we actually sewed it just like a quilt, put it in the frame, and then tacked this down. So we have 2 options. Our option, which is on the left, which will be coming out in a video in 2 days on this channel, which is Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube. The one on the right is Priscilla's finishing, and all of the information on her finishing can be found on her blog. So you can see they look totally different. This one has the blue, this one has the Priscilla's checks, totally different. This one has more black, this has more white. So giving you lots of options so that when you finish your piece, you can make it match you know, your house, your home decor. And we love giving you finishing ideas that incorporate sewing as well as cross stitch. So that is all the trimmings, and it's been a lot of fun to see that on social media where some of you guys did totally different colors. The next one, oh my gosh, it makes me happy to see. So this is all the trimmings. No, this is monthly markings, and this is by Heart and Hand. And we started this one in January, so if you want like a lot of detail on this, go to our January FlossTubes. And what we decided to do was do 1 square a month. We did do a Kimberly thread pack, so we changed our colors. And in that thread pack, we have a conversion by month, so you know exactly where everything goes. And oh my gosh, this is like the cutest thing I've ever seen. And when I started working on October, I decided, just because for some reason you're going to see a theme throughout today, is I really decided that getting those borders done just makes it go faster, and then okay, I've got the border, it fits. I'm not off on any count. So now all I have to do is November and December, which will be super easy. And then I'm going to frame this one. I'm going to frame it similar to the original that Cheryl finished. And I'm still not sure where I'm going to hang it, but I'm excited about that. And then this one, now we're going to move to finishes. I have 3 finishes. This is Farmhouse Christmas. So Farmhouse Christmas is by Little House Needleworks. It is a 9-part series, and we do sell a pattern pack of all 9 patterns, or you can buy each one individually. For the border, you just go to Little House Needleworks website and go to Farmhouse Christmas, and you will see exactly where all of that is. And I love it. I did change the colors, and we do have a Kimberly's Farmhouse Christmas thread pack with the colors. And one thing that was great about this is at the end, there was only one like long stitch. And then they wanted you to put the eyes on the snowman. But I decided that I didn't think he needed eyes, because then I would feel weird that the sheep and all the other stuff don't have eyes. The sheep, the dogs. So I kind of thought, well, so I kind of left the eyes off the snowman, so you guys can comment and let me know, should I add it, should I not? Because obviously I'm not going to the framers anytime soon. This is beautiful beige. We do have a question that says they want to see the difference between beautiful beige and oatmeal from Autumn Beauty. So I'm going to show those. This is 16 count, which I will say, I don't love stitching on 16 count. So in the future, I'm probably going to go with 14 count. And I do want to let you know, Country Cottage Needleworks put out a really cute pattern yesterday on their Instagram. We'll be putting that on our coming soon page today. We're waiting on an email from them on pricing. So on the left is beautiful beige, and on the right is oatmeal. And oatmeal on one side has a mottled look and a not mottled look. So the non-mottled is much lighter. And like I said, some of these, when you get them, they're not going to always be exactly the same. They might vary a little bit. And this is a needle minder, in case you couldn't tell. But this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame this one in the exact same frame that I got Kringles stitched in, framed in, because it looks really good. I do want to announce that next week I'm going to have a lot of framed finishes to show you. And next week I have some awesome stuff that Priscilla did for me that you're going to just want to tune in to see. You're going to love it. So I'm saving all of that for next week, but I am going to use the same frame on this that I used on Kringles. And then the next finish I have is Stationary Addict. It is a design by Little Dove Designs. She is based in the UK. And this one, we did our own thread pack with Gentle Arts, and so that's called like Kimberly's Stationary Attic thread pack. And this one had a ton of backstitch. I was just like about to pass out when I did the backstitch, but this is going to be really cute. I'm not sure what kind of frame I'm going to do on this one, but I'm thinking maybe gray. There's a lot of colors going on. I think white would kind of be too washed out. So I'm thinking maybe a gray farmhouse kind of frame. And then my last finish for today is Stitchography. So this one is a paid pattern. It's a low price paid pattern. And I got it all finished. So this one I cannot wait to get finished also. So that is what I was able to stitch this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Any questions, pop them in the comments. We will answer all of them. I do want to announce that next week on Tuesday, I will be hosting Stitchy Talk. And on that one, we're going to do some talking and experimenting with how I pick thread for each project. So thank you for joining me today, and please put any questions in the comments and we will be sure to answer them, and make sure to subscribe to our channel. See you next week.